Morning, Bonnie. How are you? Morning, Dave Chase. Good morning, good morning. I'll find a better spot for me here. Good morning, David. Good morning, Bonnie. Great to see you here. Amy, good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone is well. It is snow. You're correct. Yes. Take a little look around here. Yeah. Not only is it snow, but we are without power too. So we got that going for us. We got all kinds of things going on here. So it is. That's one of the reasons. Yes, it's actually real snow. About a third of the entire state, maybe a little more, is out of power right now. So yeah, it's an interesting place to be. Hi, Sharon, great to see you. Hey, Jamie, Irene, good morning. John, good to see you. Things are well. Good morning, Cecile. I hope you're well. Good morning, everybody. It is beautiful, Vicky. Yes, it is also an affliction for sure here. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Oh, that's fun. Yes, it is. So that's one of the reasons I'm out here, is that I wanted to be able to talk with you. I don't have any enough signal in the house, and so I'm out here standing in the snow. But I can actually think out of power here too. Yep. That I can actually think of no better way to come to this Good Friday. Good morning, Kristen. Great to see you. Bob Guinan, good to see you, brother. Thank you for the call the other day. Great to catch up with you. Good morning, Linda. Great to see you. Hope everybody is well. Yes. So, good morning, Jackie. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. Great to see everyone. Is Maine locked down? Well, Maine, it's, as much as you can lock Mainers down, I think that it is locked down. Yes, yeah, they're all the same precautions that are going on in Massachusetts are going on here. All the same thing. The state's just waking up doing it this morning with about a third of the power. So, if you were wondering if I miss home, I miss home more now. We are on the 10th day of April, this Good Friday. So we're coming to this journey as last night was the beginning of what is called the Triduum, which is the 3 days of Easter, the 3 days of resurrection. That it begins in the evening time, and so in the evening of Thursday. And so we come this morning, and we left our story off yesterday, with Jesus being arrested and taken to Caiaphas' house, of all places. That the chief priest who carried Jesus that carried the Paschal lamb that would be sacrificed through the sheep's gate, the same gate that Jesus came through. Good morning, Nellie. Good morning, Deb. Great to see you here. That Caiaphas has arrested Jesus, and that the whole morning will be spent in these early morning hours, in these fake trials and these ways of trying to pivot to convict Jesus into this whole notion of that he will be he will blaspheme and break the law that the Pharisees are so set on keeping. And in the midst of that, good morning, Larry. Great to see you. And so, in the midst of this law that is being broken, in the midst of these mock trials that come up again and again and again, Jesus will be dragged out. He will be scourged. which is that he'll be beat with a whip with little flails on them that has designed cat and nine tails that are designed to tear the skin. He will be mocked as he's dragged through the streets. That he will undergo this incredible day of suffering. As the sun comes up, Judas will have realized what he had done and will have hanged himself with the shame of his betrayal of his friend Jesus, and from that time he will and from that moment the events of the day will follow out for the Paschal Lamb, because that same lamb that Caiaphas carried into the city is undergoing not dissimilar ways. Is that what will happen is actually the family will bring the lamb up the ascent. They will ascend just as Jesus ascends up to the mountain of skulls. That Jesus will, the Paschal Lamb will be carried by the family that will sacrifice it up to the chief priest, and the priest will inspect the lamb, and they will ask, "Do you love your lamb? Do you love your lamb? Do you love your lamb?" Those similar three questions that Jesus asked Peter to reconcile Peter, and that they will come to this point, and that they will offer their sacrifice at about 3 p.m. And so too will it be with Jesus, mirroring the way in which the Passover lamb is going to be brought to slaughter. So too does Jesus enact this as a way of walking through the pain and the difficulty and the shame of that every person might come into. So I can actually think of no more perfect way to come into Good Friday than to be standing in the snow in this place, in this most barren of places, in this most barren of ways. Yes, it may be beautiful, but it is without life, and so we're coming. But in its seeds are the promise of new life, and so here we are on this Good Friday. Jesus is led up the hill of skulls and is crucified. And on the cross there are these 7 last words, and I want to talk about one of them this morning. There's the layout of this day is known and is powerful. But this what happens on the cross, I think, has this just something particular for us, because I think it's the most misunderstood piece of Christianity, the way that some of these things that Jesus said on the cross are taken, and so I want us to consider that. But I also want us to consider. Good morning, Donna. Great to see you. Good morning, Audrey. That we might in these days consider what it is to say those words and what they really mean. Those words that Jesus said on the cross, Eloi, Eloi, sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? Now, the thing to remember about those words is Jesus was a good Jewish boy. And not just a good Jewish boy, but was an exceptional teacher of the law. He knew the Psalms backwards and forwards, as every good Jewish person instructed in the law would have been. They would have been able to sing the entire Psalm book probably by the age of 10, 13, 14, somewhere in there. So that he knew these. And that is the opening line of the 22nd Psalm. My God, why have you forsaken me? It is this, and now again, remember, this would not be said. This would be sung. It was impossible. Nobody in our age where really says, we don't recite song lyrics, do we? We sing song lyrics, smoke on the water. Nobody says smoke on the water. Like, no, you can't say that. You sing smoke on the water because it's this visceral thing that it's the way we know it, and we know it in our bones, and we know it in our being, because these songs that maybe you don't know that one, but that's it, songs of my youth. so that we're in this place where we understand that Jesus is singing a song. And when you sing a song, I just sang that line of Smoke in the Water. I can tell right now, I bet there's people on the other side of the screen that are saying, fire in the sky, like that you are in this with you. Like you're like that. Once you claim the first line, you can claim the whole song, right? And so this is Jesus singing the entire song of the 22nd Psalm. Now, what does the 22nd Psalm say? The 22nd Psalm says, oh Lord, why have you forsaken me? But it goes on to explain also that all the things that just happened to Jesus in the course of his day, all of the things that just laid out are that the dogs licked my sword, you have broken my bones, you have broken me. All of these things that the 22nd Psalm is this foreshadowing of what will happen on the day of Good Friday. And he sings it and he says, but God is still victorious, and the last line is, God has done it. You see, the 22nd Psalm, and this is what we think of this as this great divorce between God and Jesus, this great divorce between our this great crisis of faith that Jesus has. No, this is Jesus' victory song. Jesus is sitting there on the cross in the midst of pain, in the midst of hurt, in the midst of difficulty, in the midst of being broken open, quite literally in his body, and is saying, the Spirit is still victorious. God is still victorious. Love still wins. Love wins, friends. This is what Jesus is offering us on Good Friday. And this is why we call it Good Friday. Because Jesus comes not just to sacrifice and break open and put to bed finally the great blood sacrifice systems of the planet. And if you look at Christianity's 2,000 years, it has systematically undone every blood sacrifice culture that it has encountered. If you look at the Vikings, I had a friend of mine that really loved the Vikings, was into the Vikings, and one day he just turned to me, knowing I'm a pastor, and said, almost with derision, he said, the only person that ever conquered the Vikings was Jesus. And it's true. That it is this radical culture of blood sacrifice, that's what the Vikings were up to. And so, and everywhere we find it, that the history and the legacy of Christianity has been to break open blood sacrifice, but not just that. If that was all it did, that would be enough. But even more than that, it opens up in us this new link to the one who made us. That says there's nothing that you can go through, there's nothing that you have been through, that God has not been through as well, and God has not overcome. And if you walk in this way, and if you stay in this relationship, you will overcome too. Not because you're so great or you will be so great, but because I have prepared a place for you at the table. That was what we talked about last night at our Maundy Thursday meal. All right, friends, I want to end today by taking a walk in the snow with you, because we on this day, on this Good Friday, we're out here with nothing but white, with nothing but the blank, with nothing but the Taoists call the uncarved block, with nothing but pain and brokenness and suffering. But we have the one who made us. We have the one who goes for us. We have the one who loves us beyond measure. And in that, and that alone, we are victorious because God has done it. All right, friends, in these days of the heaviness of COVID and the heaviness of all the challenges that we have, remember that God has done it. That there's nothing out there that can destroy the love that God has for you, or destroy even your very life that it is granted and given to you for all your days. Go forward and know that love. That's my hope for you today. All right, tomorrow we will have another 11:11. Good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see what other natural disaster we can negotiate tomorrow, and we will find ourselves in Holy Saturday, which is actually, of all of the days of Holy Week, it's actually my favorite day. And so you're going to find out why tomorrow. But we will, remember, we will be worshiping online at 10 a.m. on Easter Sunday. So, why Good Friday? Dave Chase asked, why? If you were in prison and someone came to you and unlocked the door and conquered all the ones that enslaved you and brought you and nursed you to health, would that not be a good day? Well, that, friend, is what Jesus has done for us. All right, we'll end it there. Thank you, everybody. It's great to see your faces. So wonderful to stand out in the snow with all of you. And I am hopeful and gracious that we will continue to walk this Holy Week together. It continues to be a joy. Blessings of peace and grace on y'all.